Good day everyone, I'm Jacel El Cruzado and I am here to present you my final project. I have 5 topics to discuss, so let us start on the topic 1, which is the sociological imagination. The concept of sociological imagination was presented in 1959 by C. Wright Mills in his famous book. According to C. Wright Mills, neither the life of the individual nor the history of a society can be understood without understanding both. It is also the ability to understand the larger historical scenes in terms of its meaning for the inner life and external career of a variety of individuals. In other words, it is the capacity of the mind to understand the relationship between man and society, how one's life story connected to society's history. This sociological imagination would allow us to see how history and bigger events in our society impact our personal life and the lives of others. Using the idea of Mills, we can see the impact of COVID-19 pandemic. One of the results is unemployment. You can see it is a personal problem when one individual loses his job, and it became a public issue when a large number of individuals lost their job, causing the unemployment rate to increase. The next one is the loss of income and job opportunities in our country. Since the pandemic, many businesses have closed, making it harder to find a job due to limited job opportunities. The personal trouble of loss of income and limited job opportunities of an individual has an effect on the society. This issue results in a poverty problem in the society. The next one is the education during the pandemic. If one student drops out or does not graduate, it is a personal trouble. But if this individual student cannot graduate or drop out, it leads to a lower literacy rate in the country. The last one is the mental health issue. It is very timely because many of us experience anxiety, depression due to their problems. So, it is a personal issue if an individual has a mental health problem, but it has an impact on the society too. Since the pandemic affects many people's mental health, it becomes a public issue when mental illness impacts on the broader economy by reducing the workforce participation and impairing the productivity of those who are in employment. The next topic is the global economy. The term global economy can also called as world economy. It is the international trade of commodities and services. There is a free movement of goods, capital, services, technology, and information. It is also concerned with globalization of product, finance, markets, technology, organization, regimes, institutions, corporations, and labor. Now we should discuss the economic history of the Philippines. The Philippines was used to be the development model second to Japan in terms of East Asian economy. The Philippines was one of the Asian industrial powerhouses in 1960s. It made consumer items, processed raw materials, and built automobiles, television, and home appliances at its factory. Drugs were made at chemical facilities. Imported scrap materials was used to make steel for ship, and companies produce cements, textile, and fertilizers. Since 1970s, the economy shrank by more than 10% during the severe recession in 1984 to 1985. The gains earned in 1950 and 1960s were lost due to corruption and mismanagement during the Marcos years, as well as the inefficiency during Aquino years. Today, Philippines was referred as the segment of Asia, with a per capita of GPD that roughly one-tenth of the Taiwan. Many of the talented individual works in the other countries. In 1970s and 1980s, the Philippines fell behind its neighbor, becoming one of the Southeast Asian poorest non-communist states. The economy began to deteriorate in 1980s as the result of declining global market for Philippine export. and domestic financial crisis. During the first year of Ramos in the office, the economy was hit hard by power outages with brownouts lasting everywhere from 8 to 12 hours. The Electric Power Crisis Act as well as the Build, Operate, Transfer Law were passed to this issue. Because of them, the administration was able to eliminate the power shortage difficulties in 1993 and maintain economic development for a while. As the evidence by promising growth rates in 1994 to 1997, the economy appeared to become a long-term expansion. However, the Asian crisis which began to Thailand and Korea has spread to the Philippines. As the result of the Philippines economy plunged into the constant devaluating and extremely hazardous endeavors, resulting in property collapses and negative growth rate. By the start of 2000, the Philippines economy grew. The service sector of the Philippines overtook the industrial sector in terms of GDP contribution growth during early 1980s. The GDP contribution of service sectors increased from 36% in 1980s to 60% today. The service sector employs 56% of the country's workforce, which is more than the agriculture and industrial sector combined. The reason why the service sector increases rapidly because Filipino's second language is English. We became most popular business process outsourcing country and we became popular in office job due to low cost than the Western countries. According to the World Wealth Report, the Philippines economy grew at the highest rate in the world in 2010 with GDP increased 7.3% mainly of growing business outsourcing and overseas remittances. According to the International Monetary Fund, the Philippine economy is the world's 32nd largest by nominal GDP in 2021, the 12th largest in Asia, and the 3rd largest in ASEAN after Indonesia and Thailand. The Philippines is a rising market with the 3rd largest economy in Southeast Asia after Thailand and Indonesia in terms of nominal GDP. Based on the research, the Philippine economy is projected to be the 4th largest Asian and 19th biggest in the world by 2050. However, it is not yet promised because of the future problems like wide income and growth between the economy, different region, corruption, and etc. So let's move on to the third topic. The third topic is global politics. So what is global politics? Global politics tries to explain what is happening to the world, why it happens, and what will happen to the world. So, what are the effects of globalization on the government? Globalization affects the size and expenditures. So, ano nga ba yung mga expenditures natin? So, yun yung education, defense, healthcare, welfare, and etc. So, the next is globalization will affect the government ability to continue providing the social protection at the level of past decades. So, yung globalization kasi, aims niya na matanggal yung boundaries between nations. So, yun, yung government, kailangan nilang, protektahan yung nation nila kasi pag naging uncontrollable yun, pwedeng magkaroon ng terrorism and hindi na makokontrol yung mga imports, yun. Naman, ipapakita ko sa inyo ang pagbabago ng sistema ng politika sa ating bansa dahil sa epekto ng globalisasyon. Unahin na natin ang pre-Hispanic. Before the arrival of the Spaniards, the Philippines has formed a government. The main political is the barangay. So, the barangay ay galing sa salitang balangay o isang uri ng bangka. The barangay is composed of 100 families or more. Ang barangay ay isang estado sapagkat nagtataglay ito ng 4 na elemento ng estado. Ang una ay pamahalaan, mamamayan, teritoryo at soberanya. Ang form ng government noon ay monarchy dahil ang kapangyarihan ng dato ay napapasa sa kanyang kamag-anak. In 1517, 1821, Manila was conquered by Spain and Manila became the country's center. Following the Spanish era, most of the modern Philippines was under Spanish control. So, pinamumunuan ng Spanish ang Pilipinas gamit ang Viceroy of Mexico. Simula 1821 hanggang sa ating paglaya, ang Pilipinas ay pinamumunuan ng hari sa pamamagitan ng iba't ibang konselo tulad ng Council of Indies, Council of Ministry, and Ministry of Ultramar. Bago pa man ma-organize ang Pilipinas sa iba't ibang political subdivision, ito ay napasailalim sa Encomiendanya system. Dahil nagkaroon ng maraming masasamang pangyayari dahil sa Encomiendanya system, binawag ito ng hari ng Espanya at nagsimula na ang reorganization ng Pilipinas sa mga provinces and pueblos. So, let's move on and go to the Revolution era. In August 1986, the revolution started by Andres Bonifacio and Katipunan government was started. But after Andres Bonifacio died, the Katipunan government was abolished. The Tejeros Republic started in the leadership of Emilio Aguinaldo, but it only lasted 8 months. Then the Biak na Bato Republic started after the Tejeros Republic, and it only lasted for 1 month. Then, the Victorial Republic was established since the Philippines was in chaos, and the Republic results into the proclamation of independence. After the Malolos Republic was established and it was the first democratic constitution in Asia. So tayo naman ay dumako ngayon sa American era. Ang Pilipinas ay sumailalim sa military government na pinamumunuan ni William McKinley. Ang paglilitis noon ay sa korte ng mga sundalo. Natapos ang military government noong 1901 at napalitan ng civil government. Pero nagawa lang ng mga Amerikano ito dahil akala nila hindi lalaban sa kanila ang mga Pilipino kapag tinatag nila ito at binigyan tayo ng semi-autonomy. Unti-unti nang nabigay ang tatlong branches ng government na una ang judiciary, sumunod ang legislative at tungili ang nakontrol ng Pilipino ang executive. Noong 1907, naganap ang election for the members of the Philippine Assembly. Ang Commonwealth government ay semi-autonomous. Tayo nakakapagdesisyon na, ngunit hawak pa din ng Amerikano ang militar at foreign relation. Naiwan ang Pilipinas na leaderless noong World War II at nagkaroon ng Second Republic. Inaayos pa ng Filipino at Hapones ang konstitusyon na ito, ngunit natapos ito noong August 45, 2 days after bumagsak ng Japan. Na-establish naman ang Third Republic at nagkaroon ng 6 na presidente. Dito na ang kabilang ang unang termino ni dating Pangulong Marcos. Ang Third Republic ay katulad lamang ng 1935 Constitution. Ang pinagkaiba lamang nito ay wala ng kontrol ang mga Amerikano. Let's move on to the during and after Marcos era. Noong February 1981, nagkaroon ng pagbabago ang pamahalaan ng Pilipinas at bumalik tayo sa presidential system. Pero, meron pa rin tayong Prime Minister and President. So, the government bring back 1935 Constitution, 1973 Constitution, and create 1987 Constitution after Marcos' leadership ended. So, let's move on to the fourth topic, which is the media and globalization. So, dito tatalakayin ko ang papel ng akademya sa malawakang paglaganap ng fake news at misinformation sa social media. Ano nga ba ang kontribusyon ng isang karaniwang estudyante na tulad ko sa usaping ito? So, is where we learn what's good and what's wrong. The school has made a significant contribution to raising awareness about fake news on social media. There are subjects that discuss topics that will assist us determine if the information is real or not. Teachers guide students in being wise and not being fooled by anything they saw on social media. We learn in school that the content we read on social media must be verified for validity and reliability. Since there is so much false information and fake news going around right now, sharing false information and believing in fake news may have a harmful influence on a person or on the society as a whole. As a student, I am aware that misinformation may impact users, influencing them for political or economic motive. I realize that as a student, I could make a significant contribution if I share my knowledge on avoiding the spread of fake news on social media. The first thing I'll do is I share what I've learned in school. I'll apply and use social media to raise awareness about the negative effect of false news. Next, I'll strive to assist in the education of individuals, particularly those who are ignorant, and try to educate them on what they should not believe. Then, I'll join and support organizations that raise awareness. Finally, I will report to the appropriate authorities any social media posts or articles that spread fake news. So, I will discuss the last topic, which is migration and demography. So, what is migration? Migration is a method of moving from one location to another in order to live and work. Migration refers to the movement of individuals from one city, state, or nation to another for work, shelter, and other reasons. So let's discuss what is brain drain. Brain drain can describe as the process in which country loses its most educated and talented workers to another country through migration. The major reason are a desire for work or higher paying occupation, political instability, and a desire for better quality of life. Nation suffers from brain drain because immigrants do not return to their home countries due to opportunities to other countries. Because of brain drain, talents become rarer, costly, and difficult to keep. When brain drain is common in a developing countries, the economy may suffer from certain consequences like resulting of loss of tax income, the loss of prospective future entrepreneurs, a scarcity of critical qualified workers, and other many consequences. So let's discuss the brain drain in the Philippines. Since 1970s, many Filipinos left their home to make more money. During the term of Benigno Aquino III, 6.2 average of GDP growth from the Philippines are mainly from them. So I think Filipinos left their country or our country because of the lack of opportunities. And makikita naman natin na maliit ang sahod sa atin dito kumpara sa ibang bansa. Kaya naman maraming tao or maraming mga Filipino ang napagpapasyahang umalis na lang ng bansa natin. So lastly, let's discuss rapid urbanization. It means that a vast majority of individuals from low-density areas migrate to urban areas, leading to construction of more buildings to accommodate their livings and occupational needs. The Philippines is one of the fastest urbanizing countries in East Asia and Pacific. This can bring many opportunities for growth and poverty reduction. Cities becomes the engine of growth if well planned and well managed, but due to Philippines' poor urban planning, the Philippines has an impact on the agriculture due to intensive land conversion, and it also have an impact on the air pollution and water pollution. So that's all for my final project. Thank you for listening.